Once, on a planet of wisdom known as Zenla, there lived a man of nobility and courage. Now, a new being lives in his stead. Behold, the Silver Surfer.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We're continuing our run until issue 50, and then the Infinity Gauntlet. We're looking at the Silver Surfer 41 from 1990. I do have a playlist. Feel free to check it out, as the Silver Surfer has to get a job from the previous issue. The inker, Christopher, it'll be inside. I forgot his name. He's got quite the signature here. It's just it's something. So, funny cover of the Silver Surfer waiting in line. So, all right, here we go. And so, job hunting. The Silver Surfer is stuck in Dynamo City. He gives us a very quick recap. A gigantic free-floating satellite community whose only purpose is commerce. So, and so we've got a line here. Tom Christopher, that was the inker, with that big signature here. So that's just pretty funny. We see the Surfer in line here talking to this guy here. So the first guy says, "Say, ain't you the Silver Surfer?" "I am." "What you doing in this line?" And Surfer says, "Looking for work." "Just like a regular person, huh?" And he says, "I guess so." So Jim Starlin is our writer, the best writer at cosmic stuff. Unfortunately, Jim Starlin has had a very long career. He has a very underrated Batman run that I absolutely adore, which I have covered. I have a Batman playlist. But for as good as he is at the cosmic stuff, it has a short shelf life. After Infinity Watch, they did, or in the after the Infinity Gauntlet, he did this series called the Infinity Watch, which basically continued on, and even that got canceled. He did a New Gods stuff for DC Comics that wasn't successful. It seems that he has short-term success, but isn't able to like extend it. Like, people will buy his stuff when it first comes out and maybe stay on, but I don't know. His Batman run, I was just it only lasted a couple issues, about 15 issues, and then he also had the oh my gosh, the Cult limited series, which were really like double issues. So it was 4 issues, really. Could be 8. That was with Bernie Wright's son. So I don't know. I like Jim Starlin. He's one of my goats. I really enjoy his stuff. It just doesn't. Maybe I'm the only one, that reads his stuff ferociously. Everybody else just seems to quit on the poor guy. So I don't know. So, but a lot of people really do like his Silver Surfer run. So, anyway, the guy here continues. You must come to town, not knowing Dynamo City is one big energy siphon. Hey, lost your cosmic powers, and now you have to get up the credits to pay the Berg's exit toll, right? And he says something like that, which of course it's just a way to fill in the if there's somebody new, kind of like a little recap. And so the guy says, "Well, I wouldn't worry none. A slick dude like you shouldn't have no trouble earning your way out of here." And Surfer says, "I hope not. I find this city depressing." And this line, I've been on it for 8 hours already. And he says, "It's a long line, ain't it?" And Surfer's like, "It sure is. For the first time in decades, I'm hungry." And so now it's finally 6 hours later, and the robot says, "I take it you're seeking employment." "Yes," says the Surfer. "Please have a seat and state the name and nature of what your last employment was." He says, "I am the Silver Surfer, and my last job was, well, as the Herald of Mighty Galactus." And the robot's like, "That's interesting work. Unfortunately, we have no Herald positions open at the moment. What other jobs are you qualified for?" He says, "I was once a scientist." He says, "Excellent. Look at the view screen. Can you identify the functions of this apparatus?" He says, "Well, no. It's unlike any technology we had on Zenla." And he says, "Can you operate a computer?" "With my cosmic powers, yes. Manually, well, I'm not sure." "Then can you type?" "Of course. I might be a bit rusty. It's been at least 50 years. "Ever work in food services?" "No." "Qualifications?" "None." "Does that mean you can't help me get a job?" "There's still one position still open. It is in construction." So him and that dude are stuck. So the Surfer is doing manual labor here, but he drops, and this guy yells at him. He's like, "It's too hot, sweltering. And my metallic skin without my powers to cool it off. It's like a pressure cooker," he says. "Terrific. Well, if you can't cut it, you're out of here. You're fired, Surfer." And he's like, "I can't even handle manual labor." So, all right. And so the Surfer kind of walks with this crowd here, kind of pondering what to do. And so he hits this, I think, Robocop. And he says, "Where are you going, off-worlder?" And Surfer's like, "I'm not quite sure." Avagrant? And he says, "I suppose so. Then I suggest you immediately take yourself to Tent City." And so, um, it's where all the poor people live here. So, um, how poor Surfer. And so, one of them says, "Morning, stranger. Don't get many fancy folk like this down your way. Help you with something?" And the other guy's like, "I don't recognize the dude." And he says, "I am the Silver Surfer." And so they're all kind of gonna talk to him here. So some of them are there like him. They can't pay their way out. These people are just saying it's a temporary condition here. And so look at her. "We're not gonna leave until we're rich." So, so this couple has been here for 8 years. He's been there for 3 years. He's trying to like I mentioned, he's trying to get out. And Surfer asks him, "What about work?" He says, "Not skilled. Technically, not strong enough for manual labor." And the Surfer's like, "Same here. How do you get by?" He says, "The underground economy, mostly domestic work, to get paid in food, clothes, shelter, etc., but never credits. That's why Dynamo City tolerates it." And they're like, "Who's in charge of this madhouse?" says the Surfer. "Someone called the Great I think, the letter I. No one ever sees the dude. He runs Dynamo City through his bureaucracy of robots and high rollers. It's all set up so the rich get richer and the poor stay that way." And so he continues, "They're always spouting a bunch of propaganda about everyone having a chance to make it in their free enterprise system, but it's only the insiders that ever get ahead." And the Surfer says, "There must be some way of winning at this game." And this little one says, "You could always sell your dreams, mister." He says, "My dreams?" "Yes, that may be your way out. From what I've heard, you've led a pretty exciting life." The Great I and Dynamo City's rich folks are just plain starved for any form of exotic entertainment. That's why they set up a Sensory Stimulation Network. The network has the technology to tap into a person's memories and broadcast over the airwaves. And so this guy says they pay. Oh no, same guy. Sorry, they pay big bucks for unique minds. And so he says they'd pay the 5 credits I need for the exit tax. And he says, and then some, but be careful. The network's supposed to have some shrewd negotiators. But to sell my thoughts and dreams might just be your only way out of this town, he says. Why haven't you used this means to escape? He said, try to. My dreams weren't special enough for them. And so he looks there and he's like, such a dismal place, he says. So the surfer says, it seems everything here is designed to beat a person down. How do you stand it? And the guy says, I was born to such a life, surfer, never known anything else but hard times. And he continues, must be a lot harder for a person like you, someone who's roamed freely among the stars most of the life. And he says, I shall return to those stars or die trying. I'm off to find this stim network. And so he eventually finds it here. And he goes in. And so they're like, and now to discuss your services. SNet will pay you 200 credits. That is my price. And he says, the guy says, 200 credits? You did say 200 credits. I did hear you correctly. Take it or leave it. You drive a high bargain, but you have a deal. I'll have the contract drawn up. And so, all right. So apparently they were willing to pay him more. So they go, you're wanted on stage. And so they're going to have like a big thing. And so here they bring the Silver Surfer, and he's like, ready when you are. So they put on the clamps. And it says, let's begin the show. And their life presents the life and times of the Silver Surfer here. So, all right. This is a good drawing here. A splash page basically here. Ron Lim, I really like his work. I don't know why that dude didn't become more popular. So he's such a workhorse and handy, but he didn't seem to get the McFarlane or Jim Lee treatment. So here he is meeting Galactus, turning into the Silver Surfer. You should all know the origin of him, becoming the Galactus's herald, going to Earth, meeting the Fantastic Four, and then turning on against the Galactus here, and then all the adventures that he's basically had here. I never knew why in digital things they don't correct this. These are not scanned from originals. So why don't they fix this? Why leave it like this? I don't know. And so here's Zenla, right? No, Zenla is the planet. Shabel? I don't know. Look it up. And so here's Nova. And is this Mantis? Could be. Yes, it is. There it was. Yes, Mantis. That would be from the New Guardians movie. And so battling Thanos. Killing Thanos, or at least he thinks he did. And then ending up in a Dynamo City. So this guy says, a great show. You really wowed them. Our ratings went through the rooms. I will take my payment and be on my way. Sure, Surf. Whatever you want. Don't spend it all at once. There's only 2 credits here. What's going on? And so they're saying the fees. That leaves 2 credits. And so he's like, this is robbery. You cheated me. And so the guards are going to take him away. And so this is so funny because they probably were going to offer him more. And so it is not my fault. The fool didn't know how to negotiate a decent deal for himself. The idiot should have had the good sense to get himself an agent. And so now he gets beaten up. And they're like, and don't come back. And they throw him the credits and look at Bart Simpson's. He walks away. Next, a second chance. So, there we go. So, um, I don't know. This run was very unique. I just I don't think it was like a world beater, but I mean it was really good. And then Ron Mars did an excellent job maintaining the status quo after Jim Starlin. So the Silver Surfer 41 by Jim Starlin, Ron Lim, and Tom Christopher. Like and subscribe. I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.